Good morning. Happy Thursday. We are going to be talking today about classifying quadrilaterals. So far we've done polygons, classifying triangles, classifying quadrilaterals is today, and then tomorrow and Monday are going to be a review of volume, which you guys have already done before. And then on Tuesday we're going to have an assessment on this just to see what you guys learned from these things. So please make sure that you're watching the videos, trying the games, and then doing the Google Forms, and reaching out to me if you're still confused by it. So for classifying quadrilaterals, the biggest thing here at the top, it says you can classify quadrilaterals using one or more of the following attributes. So when you're using the attributes, you're going to use words like congruent sides. That means that all the sides are the same length. Parallel sides and right angles are words you're going to use. So here is a really good chart that you're going to want to use for your Google Forms and things like that. You are going to want to have it next to you when you're doing your Google Forms. So at the top is quadrilateral. What we did on Tuesday with polygon would be up here, and this is a type of polygon. Yesterday we did triangles, that's a type of polygon. So here's a different type that we're talking about today. So in order for it to be a quadrilateral, it has to have four sides. So all of these shapes that you see in front of you have four sides. So we go into more classifying of it. So a trapezoid has to be out here, because in order for it to be a trapezoid, it's a quadrilateral, so it's still a four-sided figure, but it has exactly one pair of opposite sides that are parallel. So a pair is two lines, because you have to have a pair for it to be parallel. And in order for it to be parallel, this line here is parallel to this line here. This line here and this line are not parallel because eventually they will intersect, and if that happens, then they're not parallel sides. So the top and the bottom are the parallel sides, but there's only one pair of them. If you look down here from the quadrilateral, there's something called a parallelogram, which means that all of the shapes underneath of it have the same attributes as a parallelogram. That's why they're underneath of it. So in order to be a parallelogram, it is a quadrilateral with opposite sides that are congruent, which means that they're the same length. So this line here is the same length as this line, and this line here is the same length as this line. And parallel. So this is parallel to this side, and that's parallel to that side. So it's got two sets of parallel sides, is what you would say. Sometimes I have said that in the video too, or just opposite sides are parallel. Both of those are fine ways of saying it. So if you go out here, you see a rhombus. For a rhombus, it is a parallelogram with four sides that are congruent. So all four sides are the same length, and it's also considered a parallelogram because the opposite sides are parallel. Over here we have a rectangle. A rectangle has all the attributes of a parallelogram, but it also includes four right angles in order to be a rectangle. Then we have down a square. A square has the attributes of a quadrilateral, a parallelogram, a rhombus, and a rectangle all together. So it has, it's a parallelogram. It's got the two sets of parallel sides. It has all four sides are congruent, and they have four right angles. So down here it says a square has all the attributes of a rectangle and a rhombus. So it has all of these attributes. It also has all of these attributes. So it has all of those attributes, and that's why it's at the bottom. All right, so I just want to show you guys a couple examples. Like I said, I would keep this up next to you as you do your work today. So you can keep referring back to the definitions of these 2D shapes. I did put it on Google Classroom so that you just have it, or you could pause the video and use it and kind of put it like I have it, one on one side, one on the other. So this number 3 here, it says describe the attributes of each quadrilateral, then classify the quadrilateral. So like I said at the beginning, the very first thing that I said was attributes. You want to think about, does it have four right angles? Does it have congruent sides? Does it have sides that are parallel? How many pairs of parallel sides does it have? So for this one, it has two sets or two pairs of parallel sides, or like it says here, opposite sides are parallel. It also has opposite sides are congruent. Opposite sides are the same length. So it doesn't have the four right angles, so it can't be a rectangle, it can't be a square. All four sides are not the same, so it's not a rhombus, and it's definitely not a trapezoid because it has more than one pair of opposite sides. So you would classify this this shape as a parallelogram. You would write all of those attributes out. That has opposite sides that are congruent and parallel. So for this one here, we would look again. So we have two pairs of parallel sides, or opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides are congruent, so it does go with the parallel, but we want to go a little deeper and see if we can find something more specific. And actually, down here with the rhombus, all sides are congruent. All sides are the same length, so it would actually be classified as a rhombus. So then you have types of questions like this down here. It says, circle the quadrilaterals that have all the attributes of a parallelogram. So in order to be a parallelogram, it has to be a quadrilateral with opposite sides that are congruent and parallel. So you're looking at these shapes. Does a rectangle have opposite sides that are the same length and parallel? And it does. So that would be one of them. A rhombus has opposite sides that are the same and parallel. And a square has the same thing as well. So all of these underneath of the parallelogram have the same attributes of that. The trapezoid does not, because trapezoid only has one pair of opposite sides. So this one would have three things circled. Number 6 says, circle the quadrilateral that has all the attributes of a rhombus. So a rectangle. A rectangle has to have four right angles, so it does not have the same attributes as a rhombus. A square has, if you look at rhombuses, parallelograms with four congruent sides. So does a square have four congruent sides? And it does, and it has the same definition as a parallelogram. So a square actually has all the attributes of a rhombus. Yes, we know it has more because it has the four right angles, but it's just asking, does it have all the attributes of the rhombus? So yes, you would circle that one. The other ones wouldn't work because it has to have four congruent sides. So let me just show you again what the answer's on, so you can kind of pause it and check it out. All right, one more thing I wanted to show you is on your Google Forms. Like I said, I would have it all be next to each other. This is the same type of question like I just showed you. It says, describe the attributes of this quadrilateral, then classify it. Select 3 correct responses. So what you're going to look at is these first 2 have to do with parallel. So you're going to choose one of those 2. The second 2 have to do with congruent. So you're going to choose one of the ones that goes with this shape. And then the last 3, you're actually classifying it. So you will have 3 options there. So hopefully that helps with your understanding of just how to do the Google Classroom or the Google Forms. Again, hopefully you guys let me know if you have questions, and I'll talk to you soon.